Alright guys, it is time to drill steam holes on these Edelbrock heads. So, I don't know why that the manufacturer would not do this for you. It wouldn't matter what, if you didn't need steam holes in the heads, because the head gasket for that particular engine would cover them. But for whatever reason, you have to drill them. Now I can tell you right now what I found out from Edelbrock was you only drill the steam holes on the exhaust side. You don't drill the ones up here because you're not going to be able to ever find the water jacket. It's pretty much all solid in there. So that kind of sucks. I mean, it kind of makes me worry because GM had them, 2 of them per in between each one for a reason. So in this case, I don't get to do that. Now here's the really stupid part, is I put the 400 head gasket on here and centered it in the dowels there, and then I drew the circles out here for them with a Sharpie. They're pretty much right at the top of these two. So I don't get it. I don't know why they don't do this for you. It kind of messes with my head a little bit, but whatever. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to move them up just a little bit, and hopefully this will work. Now the one in the middle here is going to be fine because it's got a round edge instead of a triangled edge like these. All right, let's ruin a $1,000 set of heads here. Old piece of soap there. If you didn't use some kind of lubricant on your drill bit, you'd have aluminum stuck in your drill bit. Just my redneck way of using a lubricant anyway. Well, anyway, I get to do 2 more, and I'm going to go just the next size bigger on it. But anyway, when I get done, I'm going to use a countersink bit here and just kind of countersink that a little bit. It'll get that raised area up from drilling it. And I got to change the valve springs on the head, so I'm going to have all that stuff apart on the cylinder heads anyway. But I'm going to blow them out real good, and then I'm going to wash them really, really good, and then change everything out. So I've still got to clean off the gasket surface here, but this is pretty much, if you've never done it, this is what you got to do. If you have regular old GM heads, like some old 882s or anything, and you want to put them on a 400 and they do not have steam holes, you can drill the uppers in those, the intake side ones, but these aftermarket aluminum ones, you can't do that, which kind of sucks. Anyway, 2 more to go. I might also add that, you know, if you take the soap out of your house to use, you know, every time you do it, you get a little bit of fine aluminum drill shavings in there. You're not really wasting the bar of soap. You can still put it back in your shower and still use it. It'll just be more of an exfoliating style soap now. So, little tech tip there. Well, I hope my parts come in from Summit today. It'd be kind of nice. I need my cam button and stuff to finish bolting all the parts on the engine, but I think I'm going to go ahead. I texted a buddy of mine at his shop, and he told me I could go ahead and run over there. I think I'm going to run these cylinder heads over there and change the valve springs at his place. He's got a heck of a lot nicer valve spring compressor tool than I got. I got one of those little ones, you know, that you pull down on, and I've been having to lay the heads down. And these, you know, on stock GM valve springs that I use that are used and, you know, worn, they're a little easier to compress. Those brand new ones on those heads are pretty stout, and the ones I'm putting on are even stronger. So it's going to be better to go use the right tool for the right job. But anyway, so he did tell me in the text that he didn't want any filming. He don't want people to know what's in his shop. So I get it. It's privacy. Completely understandable. So you guys won't get to see that part of it. Anyway, I'm going to take them over there and swap those out, and then just pretty much head right back here so I can get some work done. All right, so I lost about 3 hours worth of work. Well, not really, but the valve spring compressor I have here is just one of them cheap little handhelds, you know, you hook on and then bend or pull, you know, to try to get the stuff off. And I'm telling you what, when you're working with heavy valve springs, it's pretty much impossible. So I ended up getting a hold of a buddy, and he let me come down and use his spring compressor at his shop. And then when I was done, he actually let me use his solvent tank, his solvent washing tank. So that's pretty cool. So I got my heads completely cleaned, blown out, valve springs changed, so these things are ready to bolt on. Pretty happy about that. So I've laid out some paper towels here. I've got my thread sealer, ARP thread sealer for the head bolts. I need to clean up the threads on my old head bolts because they're 12-point ARP stainless. And anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the heads on and get them torqued down. I do need to change this plug out here. This one is in here just for paint. I have a polished stainless one I'm going to put in there because a little bit of it is visible. Anyway, I need to do that first. I am glad I didn't put the heads on and then remember this, because I just ran it in a couple threads. It's not even tight. I'd have had a hell of an oil leak. Anyway, time to get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this plug in. I've got the old one out. I don't even know if it's something you guys are interested in seeing, but I figured I'd do it anyway. Making sure it's the right plug. I use Teflon thread sealant or whatever that is, paste, or on everything automotive. I don't use Teflon tape on anything except for the house and air hose fittings. All right. So you can get stainless steel plugs from eBay. I got an assortment pack, and then I bought another pack that was just this size, because a lot of these go in a lot of these small blocks. But anyway, there's another one that goes down here, and the two for the coolant down here on the side of the block. So there's a lot of that size to use. All right, so I'm gonna do the final torque here on this one cylinder head, and then I've got to do that one. So anyway, I'm following the torque sequence here on my book, and I went in 3 steps, and now I'm to the final, which ARP recommends 70. I'm doing it 72 because I got an extension on here, and I'm just guessing that, you know, the extension is going to take a little bit out. So anyway. All right, that was the last one, but I'm going to go back through it again just to double check. Okay. All right. One aluminum cylinder head on. All right, so these head bolts, they're not too much fun because I have to put ARP assembly lubricant underneath the head of the bolt and on the bottom of the bolt. I did both sides of the washer basically. The head bolt washers for ARP has a chamfered side, which is actually when you put it up there you don't see the chamfer, it's underneath the head of the bolt, but it has to face the outside head of the bolt, so the chamfer goes up. But anyway, now I have to put, I've already done all the ARP thread lube on these bolts, now I have to put the thread sealant on all of them and work it in and then get them all going and getting it started. So it's kind of a tedious process. It's a little bit messy because I like to work it in with my finger down in the threads instead of leaving a goop on it, just smearing it on there and sticking it in there. So you get the idea. I just about need a magnifying glass to read these numbers on this. All right. And as always, when you're done with your torque wrench, always back it all the way back off, or you will weaken your spring and you'll get incorrect readings. Okay. Well, so the instructions say not to soak the lifters or soak them in mineral spirits, oil, or anything. So what they do want you to do is wipe them down with a clean, lint-free rag. I guess they have some kind of rust inhibitor on them or something. So. It doesn't really take that long to build an engine. It's all the hours and time you put into the prep of getting all the parts ready to be assembled. What I'm using here is Clean Strips Prep All. It's like a wax and grease remover. I usually get this from O'Reilly's, the Master Pro, and it's like $7. But anyway, I ordered that online. It was like, I don't know, $12 or something, and it's a little bit bigger of a can, but I got it here within a couple of days, and I didn't have to drive anywhere. I knew I was about out, so I went ahead and ordered one a couple days ago, and it came in today. I still got half of these to go. Let me use his spring compressor